Hey there, it's Darren Garman, and I'm looking forward to talking to you about 5 big things you need to know regarding real estate syndications and your involvement in investing in real estate syndications. Real estate syndications are a great way to not only scale your wealth, but there's also a lot of cash flow, there's tax savings, there's a lot of benefits of being involved in real estate syndications, okay? So, what are the big things you need to know this year? Especially if you're a busy executive, physician, entrepreneur, fund manager. What are the 5 or 6 things you really need to know this year? So let's start with number 1. Remember that real estate syndications are pretty much passive, but you get what I call the active benefits, okay? Real estate syndications are one of the few real estate investments that you can get involved in where your involvement is pretty much passive. It can almost be pretty much non-existent, but you get the same kind of active owner benefits as if you were actively owning, managing, running the property or properties day after day. And that's key for a lot of you to allow you to do what you do best. Running companies, running sales teams, you're a physician, you've got a practice, whatever it is, you're a fund manager, you got responsibilities there. This passive active combination allows you to do what you do best while the real estate is working in the background, providing you these kind of benefits. Okay, big advantage and a big reason why many of you, maybe you're involved in a real estate syndication right now, or maybe it's a reason why you are considering it. Okay, so I told you there's going to be 5 things that you really need to know this year. I wanted to start out with the real obvious one. It's a great way to have a passive investment, but get active benefits of great real estate properties. Okay, number 2. We're going to talk about vetting your sponsor. Vet your sponsor. Okay. Now a sponsor, a lot of times sponsors are called, I'm going to put GP there, general partner. Okay. Vet your sponsor or your general partner. If there's one big mistake I see a lot of, especially busy people, especially high net worth individuals, fund managers make, is they don't spend enough time on this because why? Because they're so damn busy. That's why. Oh, well, the guy told me that I talked to, I had a phone conversation with a guy that's, one of my one of my investment managers. He said, yeah, you might want to think about these guys. I'm at a conference and I talked to some guys that were involved in the conference as sponsors there. They told me maybe I should. No, guys, you want to be vetting your sponsors, spending the necessary time and looking at really 3 key areas. Okay, number 1, track record. Okay, you need to ask them, and they need to be able to tell you what their track record is. And by the way, here's a red flag. If their entire track record is all successes, all they've done is have win after win after win, they're not being upfront with you. As a matter of fact, I would say that they're lying to you, or they've only done 1 or 2 deals. Maybe they haven't done any deals. Okay, what is it? What does it look like? Along with that, number 2, how many years have they been involved in syndication, in operating, in owning real estate, whether it's multifamily property? How long have they been involved as an owner-operator of real estate? How many years of track record do they have? Okay, so when you look at what we do for investors, we've got the 30-plus year track record. We've been doing this for 30-plus years, right? And we've got a track record that have not all been wins, by the way. A ton of them have. The vast majority of them have, but not all have been wins. Okay, I'm going to talk to you on why that's actually important and why that's a good thing. So we talk about these things with our investors. Okay, when they vet us, we have these kinds of conversations. You need to be doing this. The third thing about vetting your sponsors is not only track record, years, and of course knowledge, but have they had any losses? Here's the big question, guys. Have they had any losses? You're looking for sponsors or general partners that say, yeah, I had some losses. And they give you a couple of examples of properties that didn't go as well as they thought. Maybe they didn't make as much of a return or as much money on the deal as what they thought. Hell, maybe they lost money. Those are the kind of conversations and the kind of questions you want to be having when it comes to vetting your sponsors. I find not enough people spend enough time doing this. Why? Because they're so busy. Vet your sponsors. It's huge. It will save you a ton of time, possibly millions of dollars in the future. And number 3 is just a quick reminder, but I find some people forget about this. And I want to just make sure I take the time to remind you that real estate is a long-term game, okay? It's a long-term game. You want to be thinking of having your money at least in the deal for a minimum of 5 years. A minimum of 5 years. So 5 years, you make the investment, you're in that syndication, you make your investment, and you don't see the money for 5 years at least. And you don't care if you don't see the money for 5 years. You maybe even kind of forget about the money for 5 years. Okay, that's kind of what your attitude needs to be. So before you make that investment, before you commit, you want to make sure you spend the time looking at your time horizons, what's coming up with you in your personal life over the next 2, 3, 5, 8 years. What's going on? What's happening? And you want to make sure that, if 3 of your daughters are getting married over the next 3 years and they want to have these weddings in these destinations, and you see what I mean? All of a sudden, you see where I'm coming from, okay? You want to make sure that you're understanding your money's got to be locked up at least 5 years. So in other words, it's a long-term game. And that's one of the main reasons why you get great benefits out of syndications, especially great real estate syndications, is because it is a long-term game. All right, let's get into number 4. Number 4, familiarity. Okay, so Darren, what do you mean by familiarity? What does that mean? A big question I get from investors is, Darren, I've got $500,000 liquid. I've got $1.2 million liquid. I've got $3 million liquid. I'm ready to go. Here's my question. What kind of real estate do I get involved in? Should it be self-storage? Should it be an office building? Should it be a development deal? Should it be Airbnb thing? Should it be multifamily? See what I mean? You have a lot to choose from. Here is a huge key, real shortcut to making the decision on what you should be investing in. Invest in something you're familiar with. Okay? You don't want to be looking at things and trying to process things that you don't know anything about, okay? You have no idea about. Okay, so, familiarity for me, I don't know anything about diamond mines, okay? So if somebody wants to put a syndication together and they approach me, they say, Darren, we've got this unbelievable diamond mine syndication we're putting together. I'd be like, nah, no way, guys. I can't. There's no way. Sounds great. Returns sound amazing. It all sounds great, but I have this much experience with diamond mines. I have no idea. You could send me 10 pages of reports. It might look great, but I have no idea what I'm reading. See what I mean? That's an extreme example, obviously, but familiarity. Make that familiarity choice in your mind before you make that investment. All right? Let's go to number 5 now. Now, this one's a biggie. Not all in. Okay, Darren, what do you mean not all in? What the heck does that mean? You want to make sure that no matter how great that syndication sounds, you don't take every penny of your liquid capital available and put it into that one syndication. You don't want to find out the bad news and have all of your capital now in a place that's not working out. Okay? Don't go all in. Go in as much as you comfortably can, but always keep some capital on the sidelines. Okay? Because look, let me ask you this question. Have you ever seen a business plan? Have you ever seen a pro forma? Have you ever seen any kind of projection that looks bad on paper or on your computer screen? Do any of them ever look bad? No, they all look great. Like, this is going to go to the moon. We're going to be making 20+% overall returns in the cash flow, and this is going to do this. We're going to be able to 4 times our money, et cetera, et cetera. You get my point. Don't go all in. Go in as much as you can comfortably, but always leave some capital, some cash on the sidelines just in case it doesn't work out. And once in a while, there might be something called a capital call. Okay, so Darren, what's a capital call? A capital call is basically the sponsor or the general partner calling you and saying, hey, Frank, we need some money. Our expenses have way surpassed our income in a big way over the last few months. We're running out of capital. We've had this come up. We've had that come up. We need more money put into the deal. And per the operating agreement and per the documents that you signed, by the way, I need you to send me a check for $65,000, a check for $165,000, whatever it is. You're almost always subject to a capital call. Now, fortunately, none of our funds and none of our syndications have had any capital calls before, which we're very happy about. But you are subject to that. That can come up. So you not only want to have that capital to the side here, okay, but you also, just because you don't want to put all of it in, but you also, just in case there's going to be a capital call. Okay, guys, we've covered 5 big things you need to know this year about syndication. Some of them you're probably like, oh yeah, Darren, I kind of got that. I kind of get it. A few of these maybe you're like, yeah, maybe I need to think more about that and drill down deeper on that. Here's like the last thing I'll mention to you. This is like a little bonus thing that I find not enough people do and that they don't get references. They can't come up with a minimum of 3. A minimum of 3 references that they can give you here. Call or email them, ask them about me. You need to run as fast as you can to the exit if they can't come up with 3. Because it tells you either A, they don't have anybody that can give a really good reference, or B, they just have not been doing this long enough. So guys, I think we've covered some things that if you're you're a founder, you're a physician, you're a fund manager, okay? You're a CEO, you're a sales leader, C-suite executive. You see where I'm at here? If you're one of these people and you want to really dial in on syndications going into next year, or you're into this year and you're considering what's going on out there, you really want to be involved in something, you're excited about it, make sure you plug these 5 bonus 6 things in as you analyze everything. Look, if you got some value from this, make sure you go ahead and leave some comments and subscribe to us. We'd be happy to continue to have these conversations. All right, we'll see you. Take care. Bye-bye.